Jarrell Miller has accused Anthony Joshua of being a hypocrite. Back in 2017, Anthony Joshua did this interview here when he was in Dubai, and he criticized Tyson Fury for his hit and move tactics against Vladimir Klitschko. But fast forward to 2019, Anthony Joshua fought in a very similar manner in his rematch with Andy Ruiz. Now, the irony here is that Jarrell Miller, a guy who was pointing fingers at AJ in the lead up to their fight that never was, pointing fingers and suggesting that AJ was on PEDs, Miller himself ended up testing positive for multiple PEDs. So it is ironic that you've got a hypocrite pointing fingers and calling somebody else a hypocrite. I'm pretty sure the irony is lost on Jarrell Miller himself. Now, with regards to this video and what Anthony Joshua said, to put it in context, because context matters, people, facts matter. The context of AJ making these comments was coming off the back of about 2 years straight of abuse from Tyson Fury. Day in, day out, Fury would get on Twitter, be in the media, constantly slagging off AJ. And for the most part, AJ didn't respond. These are the facts. Now, what would you do in AJ's position? Would you just let this guy keep slagging you off all the time, unprovoked, week in, week out? Or would you eventually bite back? Well, AJ eventually bit back, and that's what he did in this interview. And he criticized Fury's performance. So that's the context that he made these comments. Does it make him look like a hypocrite? Of course it does. And here's the funny thing about it as well, is his comments were correct, right? In a sense that Fury's performance against Klitschko was boring. It was very boring. But so was AJ's performance against Ruiz. So they both put in boring performances. I know there are going to be Fury fans who say the Klitschko fight wasn't boring, and I know there are going to be AJ fans who say the Ruiz fight wasn't boring. They were both boring. If you just watch it from a neutral perspective, even if you're an AJ fan or a Fury fan, but you have the ability to be impartial and just watch the fight in the cold light of day, because when Fury beat Klitschko, I was elated. A dark cloud had been lifted from the heavyweight division. The Klitschko era was so depressing. As somebody who's a lifelong heavyweight boxing fan, the Klitschko era was horrible for the most part. There was a few little highlights here and there, but for the most part, it was such a horrible era. And I'll maybe talk about that in a separate video for those who don't understand why I'm referring to it in that way. So I was elated when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko. But if I go back now and watch that Fury-Klitschko fight, is it still entertaining? Hell no. Same goes for AJ's performance against Andy Ruiz in a rematch. If you're, an AJ fan at the time and you're watching it, yeah, you're going to be on the edge of your seat and what could happen. AJ got knocked out last time. But if you go back and watch the fight in the cold light of day, when you know the result, you can't tell me that's an entertaining fight. It was boring. AJ fought, yeah, good from a tactical perspective as Fury did against Klitschko. But good tactics doesn't always make for good entertainment. And it certainly didn't in those two occasions. So at the end of the day, Fury did what he had to do to get the win against Klitschko. Wasn't entertaining, but that was the way he had to do it. He had to take Klitschko's jab away. He had to do to Klitschko what Klitschko normally does to other people. And same thing for Anthony Joshua, because for AJ, it wasn't just tactics. It wasn't just a physical challenge. It was a mental challenge. This guy's just stopped him, dropped him 4 times, humiliated him 6 months prior. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders going into the rematch. He's got to get his tactics right. He's got to fight off the demons of what happened to him in the last fight. If he loses against Ruiz in the rematch, all his belts are gone. Might get frozen out for a little while. So there was a hell of a lot of pressure on Anthony Joshua for more than just, being able to beat Ruiz. It's what it means to beat Ruiz. Getting his pride back. That's another thing that there was on the line. So he wanted to make sure that he got the win and did whatever it took to give himself the best chance of doing that. And it took a boring performance where he boxed safety first. It was what it was. Sometimes you're going to have to do that in boxing. If you have the ability to. If you're an Andy Ruiz, you're a come forward guy, you're very, very heavy, you're not going to be able to box on the back foot against these big, tall guys. That's not an option for you. But for the tall fighters, the Furies, the AJs, the Wilders, sometimes they're going to box cautious. It is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Jarrell Miller, the monumental hypocrite, coming out, pointing fingers, calling other people hypocrites. It's incredible. Let me know what you guys think. It's happening. I'm out.